So, in the last session, you all snuck inside the church and made your way upstairs after Finian had pointed out a little place where you could go and get a vantage point. You all went in completely unnoticed. It's generally quite dimly lit up where you are, but you look out across a crowd at Velen down here, who's beginning a service. Imagine all these benches are full of people. I cannot be bothered resizing.
You couldn't be bothered copying that many tokens.
No, I could not.
I'd just have them jump up and down in unison as you went down.
What are the people's names?
Shut up.
So to Bert, Ernie, Jeffrey, Timothy, Zahn, and Vaughn.
27 million times.
Yeah.
Alright. As you look across the crowd, Velen begins to speak, addressing it. We are here today to welcome a new member of our congregation. We welcome you, he gestures up with a hand to someone at the front of the crowd. Barian. A figure stands up from the crowd and walks over to stand by Velen, and then lowers his hood. Nagrax, you do recognize this person. You've talked to him once before.
Do I remember when?
Roll intelligence.
Is it the kid that kicked you in the shin at the very start? Is he the secret bad guy?
Bastard, I knew it was him.
You've got a 9. I'm going to say you've passed it. It's the shopkeep that you spoke to briefly outside the spire who offered to put a chain onto your mace.
So the blacksmith?
Yes. Well, he wasn't a blacksmith, he was more of a merchant selling arms.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember exactly where I had this conversation. But
it was literally outside the spire's steps, just following the initial execution scene.
Yeah.
You were asking him any ways to improve your weapon, and that's what he offered.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I'd probably have to go back to see exactly when, but yeah, I'll take your word for it. Nigrax won't say anything for now. I think we just want to be as inconspicuous as possible.
Velen nods to him, and then looks back amongst the crowd. Seal the doors.
Oh yeah.
With that, from both sides of the front aisle, people stand up and work their way down church and seal the main doors.
Hearing that, can I move back to the door on the balcony we're on?
You can, yes, if you like.
I just want to...
You're going to be looking down the stairs.
Is there an actual door, or is it a doorway?
There's going to be a door there as well.
I don't have anything to wedge it closed. I just want to stand by the door. Because I hear anyone coming.
I suppose really you could just close the actual door.
Oh yeah, I mean I'll close the door and stand by it. So if I hear anyone coming.
Okay.
Oh, you just noticed I forgot to give you control of your characters.
Yeah, it's that kind of service we don't even have control over ourselves. The power of Jesus is flowing through us right now. Or whatever.
Elder.
Yeah.
Okay, given where you're standing, you do hear the footsteps come. They sound like they're towards the bottom door, but then they walk past quickly. There's no sign of them coming up towards you.
It's probably just the main doors of the ceiling then, probably.
Everyone, please join me in prayer. You hear the murmurings of Velen and the various cultists as they say a prayer basically for guidance towards achieving peace. I didn't write a complete prayer because it would have gone on for way too long. That gives you the gist of what it was.
It's basically a prayer to the goddess of peace, I assume.
Correct.
Yeah. Actually, Doom, during this prayer, is that goddess of joy mentioned?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because they kind of seem to be related deities.
As the prayer comes to an end, Velen speaks. As you all here have done so, Varian will prove his fealty to us. He will join us in our quest for peace upon this world. Some of the crowd a bit awkwardly claps. You see nods of heads. They all seem to be, what's the word for it? Satisfied of another person joining them. But they all seem unruly, unorganized.
It's kind of like they're not like devout cultists, they're kind of just more like people jumping on a bandwagon.
Effectively.
Bug's bandwagon.
Haha, channel bug.
Velen gestures to a side door. This one over here. And two robe figures go through it. Between them, you see them dragging along a fairly small person with a potato sack over them. It covers their body all the way down to their ankles.
I wonder where this is going.
Oh my god, the person's a potato.
We all made our mark. We all showed our commitment to attaining true peace. Now, Baryon, it is your turn. With that, the two cultists that moved the little figure in pull off the sack. A young tiefling stirs out of the crowd. She is a child no older than 6. Her skin a light red hue, the horns barely bumps on her head. She has a bloodied lip, her clothes are dirty, she looks malnourished and has a haunted look in her eyes. This poor young thing has been birthed into a world cursed. She is tainted by demons' foul influence on this world. It is such a horrific twist of fate. I know some of you are uncomfy with the idea of what we must do also must be done to young, innocent children. If we don't apply our works to all, we will never achieve our goals of true peace. We ask a lot of you here, Baryon. Will you pledge yourself to our cause? Baryon will look down at the child. You'll see him frown, as if he's questioning himself briefly. But he'll close his eyes, take a breath, and then looks to Velen. He then holds out his hand. Velen nods. We commit this poor child to your care, Elder. Please watch over this poor innocent as she passes from this plane. Velen draws a knife and places it into Baryon's hand.
When he draws the knife, do I recognize it to be the same sort of ceremonial knife that we found at the Fallout Estate? Or can I not tell from here?
Let you roll perception.
Okay.
You can't tell.
Okay, fair enough. Now Greg's tried.
Baryon walks in front of the young child, the knife at his side. She tries to squirm, but hands are firmly holding her in place from behind. He raises the knife, and everything stops. Flint, only you are aware of this right now, but everything has stopped around you. You try to move slightly, but your body doesn't respond at all.
So I'm not in the speed force?
Your eyes are the only thing that you can move as you stir around, but otherwise you're completely locked in place.
Can I tell if it's a sort of spell doing this?
You can roll your Arcana if you wish. Second. Okay. You have no idea.
Okay.
You hear footsteps behind you. Slow. They tread on the floor, but it sounds more like they're treading on carpets. And they stop behind you. Flinty, Flinty, Flinty boy. What have you gotten into here? You feel a heat behind you, and a presence looming over you. Why don't you save her? Do you not remember how?
No.
Have you forgotten our pact?
Pact? Pact had
Feel a
not.
hand grip onto your shoulder. The touch burns. And you feel the heat rise more as the figure behind you leans in. You did an awful lot that day. You have forgotten, haven't you? I'm surprised you didn't kill yourself with what you did.
What?
Let me help you remember. You feel a sharp pain in your head, directly from behind you, as if a finger was poking into you. You remember back to the last day you were with your family. It had been a boring day, not much had happened. You were on your way home from working in the library. You passed several people you passed frequently in the streets. You made your way to your home. When you entered, you heard commotion outside, but you paid it no heed. You didn't really think, well, it didn't really bother you. It was none of your business. You weren't a guard. You closed the door and went to see your wife. She was with your son in your study. You walk over to them, greet them. They smile. You smile back. They ask how your day had been. You don't really say much about it. You've been quiet. Commotion outside has grown louder and louder. Your wife keeps looking, and eventually you decide to go out and see what it is. When you poke your head outside, people are running everywhere. There are creatures crawling all over the bodies of people you had seen just moments ago. On the roof, there are imps flying around. There are ghouls breaking into the house beside you. You see them in panic and raise your hand, and a firebolt leaps out. It explodes, killing both of the imps that were trying to get inside the house. Doing this one action, you feel tired. That simple move took a lot out of you. You shut the door, and before you can go any further inside, you hear a crash. You run into the study where your family was, and you see another figure stood with them. It's 8 feet tall, humanoid, grey skin. It has to bend over without scraping the roof. It has one elongated horn on its forehead. It's holding your wife. You try to act and cast another spell. The instant you raise your hand, you are thrown against the wall. You try to draw on the power inside you that you know you have, but you can't. It's like pressing up against a window with someone else on the other side raising their hand. You can see it, the power, it's right there, just beyond your touch. It's being held back from you. Without any other thoughts, the figure pays you no mind. It studies your wife, lifting her by the throat, twists its head to one side, then to the other. From where you are, you can see its mouth become a bit of a sneer, and the hand squeezes. Her legs begin to flail. There's a crack, and she falls completely limp, and it drops her. Your son is cowering in the corner. With one simple movement, it leans down, grabs him by the throat, lifting him, just like you did your wife, and it looks at him. You're still trying desperately to claw into any sense of power. You're completely pinned to the floor, you can't move. You feel helpless and you start to beg. You beg the creatures to stop. You beg to give it anything. You beg to your gods. And nothing happens. You're crying. And you watch as it twists its head to the side. And it starts to smile. The mouth is full of sharp razor teeth. You beg for help, for power. You beg for anything that can help you here. I can help you. You don't hesitate, even for a second. You accept its help. The magic that you couldn't feel, that was just beyond your grasp, suddenly floods into you. More than you have ever felt before. You feel like you're going to explode. You feel burning all inside you. You raise your hand. The figure's head turns, its eye looking down at you. And everything goes white. And the memory ends. Plenty boy, how could you forget that day? You accepted part of my power. You nearly killed yourself. It was days before you even regained consciousness, if I recall. But you could save her right now. You see a hand reach past and touch your arm. The arm that reaches past is pure black. It seems to have a wispiness to the edges of it. Kind of like fire, in a way. Where it touches burns. Don't disappoint me, Flint. Your arm starts to rise. You can't stop it. You still can't move otherwise. Time all around you is completely still. Your hand is pointed straight at the crowd. Well, the head of the crowd, to where the child is, the two holding her, Velen and Barrion. You feel your arm start to burn. You can feel power inside it. It's coursing from your shoulder to your fingertips. You feel it starting to build and build. Do you let it go, or do you try and hold it?
I will try and hold it back, as I don't want what happened to my family to happen to the people that are with me.
Okay.
No, not again.
You feel your fingertips starting to burn. And take 1d6 fire damage. Okay. Time suddenly snaps back to reality. You're still stood there with your arm raised. You can still feel the energy coursing through you. But both Simeon, Finian, and Nagrax are now aware that you suddenly just moved without them seeing you move.
Nagrax is visibly shocked, but is being quite disciplined in not saying anything.
Having just rediscovered this memory, I'll probably be quite pale and a bit shook up.
I think Nagrax will probably reach over to and kind of just gently press it down and just shake his head.
Does Simeon have any reaction?
From here, like maybe I would have seen that, but
I mean, you're stood by the door,
You're
aren't you?
focusing elsewhere. Okay.
I'm too focused on watching this entranceway.
Okay. Byron raises the knife, and he grips the child's hair. And he slices the knife across her throat.
I look away at this point.
Yeah, I would probably say that Nagrax would close his eyes at that specific moment.
I know what just happened. I can't see over the balcony from here, but I heard that.
Yeah, I'm guessing for dramatic effect, sort of like it was audible.
She falls to her knees and then collapses onto the floor. The crowd starts to clap.
Are they clapping enthusiastically, or is it kind of more, I'm clapping because that guy's clapping?
It's a bit of both.
Yeah, it's kind of
some
mixed.
of the crowd are enthusiastic, some of them...
So it's kind of like a mixed response. It's not like
Yeah.
they're not unanimously fervently cheering. It's kind of like there's a few more devout people kind of being enthusiastic and the others are just going along with it.
Yes. You've generally got from the crowd that they are all devout to a point, but some of them are clearly much more.
Are probably initiates like Baron.
Valen puts his hand onto Baron's shoulder. Well done, brother. We commit another one to your care. And he drops the body. Thank you everyone for attending today. Until the doors, the great works will soon begin. And with that, people begin to leave.